Hi guys, so this math review is going to be on how to add and subtract with negatives. Now, big thing you need to remember, first off, is negatives are simply minus signs. We call them negatives when they end up in front of a number and there's nothing in front of it. But if you want to call this number -6, you can. If you want to call it -6, you can. You can read this as 5 minus 6. You can also read it as 5 negative 6. Both of them work. Both of them are correct. 5 subtracting 6, however you want to do it. Okay, but there are some specific things that we need to remember when we add and subtract with negatives, and there's a couple rules which get thrown completely out the window. You used to get told, well, you can't do this problem, 5 minus 6. You can't do that problem. 5 doesn't have enough. If I take away 6, I'm out of luck. But we can do that problem. So the first thing is, if the two numbers have the same sign, add them together. Okay, so that's number one. If the two numbers have the same sign, add them together. That means if I have 6 plus 4, these are both positive signs. I add them together to get a 10. If I have -2 minus 3, these are both negative signs. Come on. So both negative signs. I add them together to get a 5. Now the sign comes in because they're both negative. Okay? So let me see. Let me use this. So this has a positive sign, even though it's invisible. And this has a positive sign. They're both positive signs, so we end up with a positive sign in front of the 10, even though you don't actually see it. This is a negative sign, and this is a negative sign. So we end up with a negative sign in front of the 5. Do you see that? Number 2. So that's number 1. If they have the same sign, if they're both positive or they're both negative, you add them together. I'm going to have number 3, which is the actual rule for what sign you put in front of it, but it'll end up being the same sign as everything else if it is. Number 2, if the two numbers have different signs, subtract them. Always. You always subtract them. So if I have a 10 minus 3, which is what we like that one. Different signs, positive, negative. So 10 minus 3 is 7. If I have a -4 plus 2, negative, positive, different signs. Find the difference. So I have subtract, but I generally use difference when I'm talking about it because different and difference goes together. 4 minus 2 is 2. Now, we are getting to number 3 in order to figure out what goes in front of these numbers. Number 3 is the answer has the sign of the larger number. Okay? So in this case, the 10 is larger. 10 is bigger than 3. 10 is positive, our answer is positive. In this case, 4 is bigger than 2. 4 is negative, our answer is negative. Okay? That's all there is to it. The answer has the sign of the larger number every time. And you can even apply it up here. Both of them are positive, so our answer ends up being positive. Both of them are negative. The larger number is a 3. The 3 is negative, so it ends up being a negative 5. Okay? We can put these numbers in any order that we want. So I can sit here and I can do this. I can do -2 plus 10. I can do that if I want to. They are different signs, so we find the difference. I take the larger number, the smaller number from the larger number every single time. So I rewrite this as 10 minus 2. What is 10 minus 2? 8. Then I look and I see what's our larger number. The 10 is. The 10 is positive, so the 8 will be positive. Okay? Let's try this one. If I have a 3 minus 9. Okay? So 3 minus 9. Different signs. Okay? So I will put the 9. I'm going to subtract. 9 minus 3, because 9 is a larger number than 3. 9 minus 3 is 6. So I put down my 6 there. And then I look. What's larger, the 3 or the 9? The 9 is. The 9 is a negative, so my answer is a negative. And that is how it will always work out every single time. Okay? So we have, in review, if the two numbers have the same sign, both positive, both negative, add them together and give them the sign that both numbers have. If the two numbers have different signs, subtract them. Smaller number comes out of the larger number every single time. Then the answer will have the sign of the larger number every single time. Okay? Talk to you guys later. Bye.